Hi, I'm Mary Kopczynski, the CEO of Regalytics. Welcome to this week's Regulatory Roundup. The regulator of the week is the OCC for slapping Wells Fargo with another $250 million fine. And for those of you who have been living under a rock, or at least in a total blackout daze about anything that happened before this pandemic, Wells Fargo got in big trouble for opening new accounts without customer authorization and agreed to a 2018 settlement order with the OCC. Well, in its review of the bank, the OCC found that Wells had failed to establish an effective home lending loss mitigation program, something they were supposed to have done, and so they fined Wells Fargo $250 million. Also this week, the OCC announced the public hearings of 3 more Wells Fargo executives that they're after for personally for major risk failures from this entire debacle. One of the execs they are going after is for false and misleading statements to the OCC about their program. The topic of the week is innovation, innovation, innovation. So where should I even start? I will start with the top international agency and work my way down to the local. So the Bank of International Settlements has a nice hub of every speech by a central bank regulator. And this week, the head of the Monetary Authority of Singapore raised the alarm on climate change and talked about innovations related to green financing. The chair of the FCA in the UK gave a fascinating speech on the regulation of tokens and why it's important. And really, it was so entertaining. He talked about Kim Kardashian, #ad, and my favorite and incredibly obscure ancient Greek story about Hercules cleaning stables for 30 years worth of 3,000 animals, and comparing to that mess that Hercules cleaned to the social media and internet data out there and what it's posed in terms of risk to financial markets rules. Love it, love it, love it. Then we get to our own Federal Reserve. So a few weeks ago, I reported on SR 21-15, which was a guide for community banks and how to do due diligence on fintechs. Well, this week, they issued a paper to all banking organizations under 10 billion about community banks and how to engage with fintech for purposes of innovation. So again, I blow the horn to all of you fintechs out there. Do not miss this one. For those of you looking for a cool opportunity, the Commerce Department has announced a high-level committee to advise the president and other federal agencies on a range of issues related to artificial intelligence. Similarly, a normally very boring but extremely important agency, the Office of Management and Budget, is seeking public comment on a draft strategy document titled Moving the Government Towards Zero Trust Cybersecurity Principles. OMB is responsible for issuing strategic guidance on this topic for all other federal agencies, which means if you care about this topic and have any relationship with any U.S. agency, you should consider commenting. Big news this week, the Conference of State Bank Supervisors released the Money Transmission Modernization Act, which is a model rule that each state can choose to adopt, and it would ultimately replace all of the 50 state money transmission laws with one single set nationwide standard, which would pave the path for payments and crypto to be able to operate without having to go state by state by state by state. And then we land in my own backyard, New Jersey. Remember, these big rescue packages are like an upside down tree. So the infrastructure bill is $3 million that will drop into the branches of the federal agencies and, of course, the 50 states, which will then in turn branch out to all different initiatives. Well, this week, New Jersey's governor announced that they've streamlined the approval process for installing electric vehicle charging infrastructure by adopting a model rule that is going to revise the rules for all of New Jersey's 565 municipalities. It's a smart move to start clearing out the pipes so that money can trickle in. That is so not it for this week. There is so much stuff I did not report on, but that's all you get this week. So subscribe to Regalytics and you can see it all. In the meantime, I'll see you next Wednesday on LinkedIn and YouTube.